Greetings, YouTube. I found an article yesterday online from BuzzFeed that deals with some children's books, classic children's books, that have been banned at one time or another in the United States, somewhere in the United States. We have 50 states, and there's a lot of difference from state to state when it comes to what is considered acceptable, apparently. And I'm not going to cover every single one here, but I'm going to cover a number of them because I think that they're absolutely and utterly absurd. For example, The Giving Tree, by Shel Silverstein. And Shel Silverstein was a gift to humanity. He was a wonderful man. Not only did he write great children's work, his illustrations are wonderful, but some of his adult humor was hilarious. If you ever had a chance to hunt down the song The Great Smoke-Off, it is wonderful. But he was here on this list for The Giving Tree, and it was a story about a tree that gives of itself until it's gone. Which has always made me very sad. However, it's been banned in the past for being sexist, because apparently because the main character is male and there are no females in the story. It's just a male kid in the tree. It's something I can think of. And because it criminalizes the foresting agency. Well, here's the thing, folks. When you're cutting down trees everywhere and it's not being done in a good or sustainable manner, maybe you need to be looked upon in a negative way, and we have done that in America, deforested entire areas. At one time it was said a squirrel could travel from Florida to Maine and never touch the ground. That is no longer true. Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne, a classic book. I also recommend The Tao of Pooh, or The Tao of Pooh. Excellent book, very good explanation of Taoism. Very well written. But A.A. Milne's books in and of themselves are a joy to read. I've read them as an adult, and I really enjoyed them. And it was banned for the purposes of being an insult to God, because apparently there are talking animals. Also, someone somehow considered the book to revolve around the concept of Nazism. I'm having a really hard time seeing that one. And there are people that were offended because outside the United States, because one of the characters is a pig, and pigs are not well viewed in many parts of the world, which I think is unfortunate because, let's face it, pigs are not only cute, but they're tasty. James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl, for the fact that there's the word ass in the book. Now, I don't know about you, but you can use the word ass in a non-sexual context. It's an insult most often, but sometimes it's just a description of an animal. So yeah, that's a really silly one. Harriet the Spy, which is being lambasted for children teaching children to lie, spy, talk back, and curse. I guess so. Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank is in here. And this is a banning from 2010, believe it or not. Because it's considered to have pornographic tendencies, sexual content, and homosexual themes. I don't get that one. What else do we have in here? Oh yes, Charlotte's Web is also an insult to God because it has talking animals. Alice in Wonderland, which they tried to ban that in my own state here of New Hampshire, because it's promoting drug use, which I can't really say it isn't promoting drug use. Where the Wild Things Are for witchcraft and supernatural events, whatever. The Lorax, which is banned for the whole deforesting issue, and would thus persuade children against logging. Well, if logging's not done well, we should be persuaded against it. This one baffles me. Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss for homosexual seduction and early Marxism. I don't get that one. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which I rather enjoyed when I was a kid, and have enjoyed both films for different reasons. Because it was saying that the Oompa Loompas are Africans, and they, I don't know, poor philosophy of life, I guess. Wow, that's a stretch. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and it says that it has no value for children today. That's from 1957, and it was, here you go, it said, it was being banned for depicting women in strong leadership roles. Guess what, folks? We need more books with women in strong leadership roles. So that's BS right there. And Brown Bear, What Do You See? Was banned for confusing the author Bill Martin Jr. with the philosopher Bill Martin, author of Ethical Marxism, The Categorical Imperative of Liberation. A book I've never actually read, which is weird because I have a thing for bears. I always associate them with them very closely. I've never read Brown Bear, What Do You See? But I get the feeling it's probably got nothing to do with Marxism. That's just me. But this kind of thing is everywhere in America, and outside of America as well, with the whole piglet issue. But when it comes to talking animals, I don't understand that. If you look back into the traditional myths and stories and folklore of any culture, you pick a culture on the planet, you just put your finger on a piece of land on this planet, and you go back, you will find myths and stories and folklore and legends that deal with talking animals. All of them. There isn't one that doesn't have them. They are rife in television and films and in books and comic books. They are everywhere in the modern world, and they have been with us longer than written language. Okay? It just stuns me that someone in the modern era would think that talking animals are something to be upset about. I don't grasp that. So, go look at the list, see if you agree with any of it, see if you think it's absurd, and maybe when you're doing it, you won't have a cat trying to claw its way through your thigh.